got my cat Azula while I was in college, and it was definitely one of the best decisions of my life. Yes, she sat still for the intro, and that was all I could ask her for, so everything from this point on is just a huge success. So, you might have noticed that a lot of people tend to get pets while they're in college. I was one of those people, and while it turned out to be a wonderful thing for me, it can often go very wrong. So I just want to talk about that for a hot sec. This is my scary warning section, just to remind you of all the things you should be thinking about if you're thinking about getting a pet while you're in school. So I've seen a lot of people get pets while they're in college, and I've seen it go very badly because, first of all, time. You leave your apartment or your dorm maybe before 8 in the morning most days, and then you don't get back to your apartment or dorm maybe until after midnight most days if you're involved in extracurriculars like I was, being in theater, if you're a part of a sport, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you like to spend time with, you know, whatever, just social life in college in general, or working in the library till late at night. Oftentimes you don't spend a lot of time in your home, and that's where your pet's gonna be. So it's a lot of time away from your pet, where it's stuck alone, maybe not getting the care or attention that it needs, depending on the type of animal that you're thinking of getting. So that would be my number one, just kind of thing to think about. Do you really have the time to give this animal that you want to adopt a good life? The other thing is, people don't think about what they're going to be doing after college or where they're going. You know, are you going to go to grad school, and will your dorm or whatever your housing situation is going to be in grad school going to allow you to bring pets? Are you moving back in with your family? Does your family, are they going to be okay with you bringing this pet with you? Are you going to be moving out on your own? Are you prepared to pay a pet fee if your apartment, you know, throws on an extra $100 a month for you to have your cat or your dog, depending on where you live? These are all things that you have to think about, because I've seen this happen to multiple friends where they get a pet in college and it's great and everyone loves it and they take a lot of cute Instagrams with it, and then all of a sudden they graduate and they can't take care of it anymore, and the pet kind of stays like with the house or with the friend group, and it moves from dorm to dorm or from house to house, from friend to friend, and like it's just kind of a shitty situation. It's an unstable situation for the pet. Not really fair to put an animal through that kind of unsteady lifestyle. But luckily, none of that is what I experienced, like I said in my wonderful intro where Azula sat so nicely for all of 30 seconds. It was one of the best decisions I think that I've ever made. And now I'm going to talk about why it was so great and why you should get a cat. So I decided to get Azula because I was just feeling very sad, and this was my junior year, and I had been reading a lot about emotional support animals, and I kind of realized that my whole life I had been around animals. My family had multiple cats and dogs and other pets throughout my life, so I'd always been around pets, and I didn't realize how much I had gotten used to that and how much I was missing it. So I did a lot of research because I started thinking about getting a cat midway through my junior year of college, and I didn't actually adopt her until the month before my senior year of college started. So that's a good 8 or 9 months of like highly seriously considering getting a cat, where I was looking at, you know, what was going to happen when I purchased this animal and what would happen after I graduated college, when I would still have this animal for another 10, 11, 12 years of my life. So I was, you know, doing my research. I looked at apartments in New York to see, you know, are there extra fees when you have a pet? What's the likelihood of an apartment letting you keep an animal with you? And all of that seemed like it was fine. Like most apartments that I saw were pet friendly. There were no pet fees. So I was like, great, that's all perfect. You know, I thought about the monthly expenses. At the time, I was working at a server as a server at a restaurant in Ohio called Max and Irma's, which is just the classiest family establishment you can imagine. And so I had like a small income as well as my parents supporting me throughout college. So I knew that I could kind of support the extra fees of the litter and the pet food, and I had already saved up the money for her initial purchase. She was $127. I still have her file with like all her information upon adoption, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't remember paying that much for her, but she was. I adopted her from the APL in Cleveland. I highly recommend adopting from APLs. They even have apps that you can download, and you can see if you have an APL near you. You can put in your zip code, and it'll pull up that APL's location, and you can see the type of animals in your shelter. So I had this app for like months, and every day I would open it and I would check to see if they had any black cats, because I love Miyazaki movies, and Kiki's Delivery Service is a movie that like was one of my childhood movies that I grew up on and I loved before I realized I loved the rest of the Miyazaki movies. I just loved Kiki's Delivery Service, and because the character Kiki has a black cat named Gigi, my whole life I wanted a black cat. So I would check the app every day and see like, oh, did they get any black kittens in? And then, one day I opened the app and I saw that they had 2 black kittens. One was named Foxy and one was named Roxy. And Azula, who was previously named Foxy, ended up being the one that I adopted. I would have loved to have been able to bring them both home. They were sisters, but I'm sure Roxy went to a great home, and there's no way that I could have supported 2 baby kittens. And I think my roommate probably would have killed me. But yeah, so I adopted her from the APL after doing a shit ton of research and making sure that it was, right for me and my lifestyle. The thing that really sucked at the time was that my apartment at my university in Ohio did have a pet fee, so my rent went up $100 every month, which is just insane. Here, there's no pet fees. If you're gonna move to like a big city, don't worry about it. Everyone has a pet, and the apartments are all fine with it. Most are dog friendly as well. Just do your research and make sure you know what you're getting into. But yeah, the reason I'm doing this video is because someone just celebrated her 2nd birthday. Azula turned 2 years old on April 23rd, and I turned 23 years old on April 17th. So we're both Aries babies, and I thought, she makes a cameo in like almost every video that I do. So I might as well do a video in honor of her and talk about my experiences as, someone who bought a cat in college and it went successfully. I love her so much, and if you didn't realize, she's named after a character in the series Avatar: The Last Airbender. Her name was Azula, and Azula was like the crazy sister who was a bad guy, and she was like a psychotic bitch towards the end of the series. But does she live up to that name? Maybe? No, she's like the sweetest cat ever. She's super playful. I just looked at her and it was the right name. I don't know. I also kind of have a fantasy about getting a dog with a spot over its eye and naming the dog Zuko, and then I'll have Zuko and Azula. So in this video, not only have you learned about my cat, you've learned that I have a Miyazaki fandom, and I'm a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I might as well just tell you, I have the Earth Nation symbol tattooed on my body. So that's what you're dealing with here. But yeah, I love her so much. Getting a cat was a wonderful decision for me. She just celebrated her 2nd birthday, so this video is in honor of her. Yeah, happy birthday! So do I recommend getting a pet in college? It's all situational. For me, it was nothing but a wonderful experience that continues to this day. So take from that what you will. I love her so much, and she's being so vocal right now. I don't know if you can hear her on the camera, but she's really just talking it up. And I think she's saying that she's happy too, and she was glad she was adopted. Ooh, is that like egotistical? She's really happy. But yeah, it was a great decision, and I love her so much. So if this is the inspiration you needed to make that final decision on getting a cat in college, I'm glad I could give it to you. Azula, any final words? Yep.